Hello, everybody. Hi, Mike. Mike is the man. I love Mike. Can
Greetings,
you hear us?
greetings.
Can you hear and see us, Mike? Just to make sure.
Uh-oh. There's an echo.
Again? Do you hear an echo, Mike?
Yeah, it's a huge echo. I don't have any of my device. It wasn't an echo when we were in the studio.
Okay. Make sure my phone is on silent. It's far away. I don't have anything else open. Maybe the fan. Let me turn the fan off. How's that? Is
Say
it still?
something?
Mike said no echo.
Okay, great. Excellent. All
Okay.
right. Peace and greetings, Mike. Thank you for coming in.
Yay. Yay. We were starting to get into it before we started the live. And I was telling Cali Roger, I said, I want to sock that last tenant I had in the face.
Yeah.
Because
And we wanna keep it as non-violent as we possibly can uh here on this family orientated YouTube channel.
hey,
But
going with Hudson.
yeah, but there are some certain things and certain etiquettes that we learn to be professional throughout the situations. We have to be professional throughout the situations. Uh, welcome in, Jihad. So anyway, to get it started, good evening, everyone. I'm Cali Bro J. Of course, you know that's Precious. This is her live. If you're here, let me make sure I share the live out. And if you can possibly share the live out, this is probably going to be a quick one. I'm
Yeah.
trying to keep it to an hour today because I know we could go
You
in
can
depth
go on and on and on.
with this. Uh,
No, it's not a replay. It's a
this
live,
is a live.
which is rare because we
It's
but
very
we
rare.
but we
It-
we something else we have in common is rental property.
okay, so let me give you a little backstory on how we even got to this live. So I posted a short video on me doing some work inside of one of the rental properties that I have, and Precious commented on the. No, she texted me. I was at work, and she texted me about, oh, we should do a live about rental property, and I was like, nah, I'm straight. I don't want to get into all of that. But I said if that video hits 1,000 views, then I'll consider it. I'll do it. She was like, oh, it's gonna make it. I didn't think it was gonna make it. By the end of the day, I did not think that video was gonna get 1,000 views, but by the end of the workday, it was already at like, I think 16, 16 or 1,700 views. I'm like, man, I guess I gotta do a live. I think people are interested in this topic, so we're trying to bring you things that people are interested in. We just don't want to sit
You're
here.
popular.
No, I think it was the music. I don't know, or the message that
Well,
I had.
well, Mike said 3 hours minimum
The 3 hours minimum.
for the live. He said
Oh,
three
no,
hours.
no, 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 no. What's up, J3? Greetings,
Hey,
J3. Thank you for
J3.
coming in. Thank you for coming in.
Uh,
So anyway, I'm sure Precious has her bullet points. I have 3 bullet points, and the bullet
okay.
points are basically what I had posted in the short video because I think that resonated with a lot of people. The bullet points that I had in my short video. So I'll
Hi,
let
Sipping and Soil. I'm just saying hi to people.
okay. So I'm gonna let Precious give her rendition of the story, and then we could get into it from there.
So, I have the current tenant that I have. He's been there 2 years, I'll say 2.5 years. But the tenant that I had before, Lord, that dude, when he left, he took plugs up out of the carpet. He had damaged a wall. He didn't do as much damage as some renters can do.
Mm-hmm.
And during the pandemic, he may pay like $250 a month, you know,
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that. And I had talked to my property management company at the time. They said, "What do you want to do?" I said, "I'm gonna wait them out." I said, "I'm gonna wait till the moratorium is over." And
Mm-hmm.
once it was over, I went ahead and I, gave him the, termination for the lease or whatever, and he got really scared because it was coming up to about 4 grand because he owed back rent, he owed late fees, plus he had to pay for the fees from my attorney because I got to contact the attorney and all this.
Mm-hmm.
So they said, Precious, they said, why don't you go ahead and let him stay and let him pay it up? So he stayed, he paid it up real quick because he didn't want to be homeless.
Mm-hmm.
And then when that year came, he gave notice and said he was leaving, and he made sure to pay on time. But what's so
Mm-hmm.
funny, if you don't know California, my rental property is in San Bernardino County, which is one of the poorest counties
Mm-hmm.
in
Mm-hmm.
California. Not if the poor, but one of them. And so he says, well, my company, they're moving to San Diego, so I have to move there. Like, I'm supposed to be heard. I'm like, if you can't pay rent in San Bernardino,
What
you
makes you? Yeah.
think you gonna pay it in San Diego? Like
Mm.
that's not gonna
Yeah.
happen.
Yeah. No, I totally get it. So for the people coming in, I we kind of just jumped into the stories that we were already kind of talking behind the scenes, but to get an overall view, we kind of have to backtrack and ask ourselves the questions of like, how did we even get into rental properties and things of that nature? So I want to share my story of how I actually got into the rental space,
Yeah.
and it was totally by accident. It was totally by accident, and but that was an accident that if it happened again, I would do it, but I would do it in a different type of way. So
Yeah.
my story is that I was approached by, and this is going to go into my bullet points, but I was approached by a family member to participate in a deal, and at the time I wasn't ready to participate in that deal. And then a year or two went by, and then I was like, you know what? I'm in a position where I want to invest in the opportunity that was presented 2 years ago. So I took that opportunity to invest in, it was supposed to be a 50-50 partnership, all that other type of stuff, blah, 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 blah. And that's how I ended up accidentally entering into the rental space. I was at a
Mhm.
point where I was, doing good financially, and I wanted to start to invest and put my money into different places and watch that money grow for me. My mindset at that time was already changing from just thinking that $5,000 was a lot to seeing so much money that I knew that things was only going to get better from that point. There's a
Mhm.
point where you think certain amount of money is a lot until you touch that, and then you see that that's really nothing. So when I
And then
was
the price of living is always going up.
yeah,
Always.
yeah, so that's how I accidentally got into the rental market, and from there, I quickly learned that there is a lot to rental property than just you buy a rental property and then that's it. The tenants pay you rent, and then you live like a god for the rest of your life. That was the first myth that I had to bust. So if you guys have ever seen the show Mythbusters, that was the first that was the first myth that the bubble popped for me, because
Mhm.
what I realized was that having a rental property is a lot of headaches, not just financially, but dealing with what Precious was talking about, which are the tenants.
Yes.
So
Hi,
Precious,
Miss Shirley.
how's it going, Miss Shirley and J3GS Farms, and who else that came in? And
Zeta Rose.
yes, peace and blessings to everyone who came in. So we can go into some horror stories, but I don't want to make it seem that it's all bad, right? Because
Yeah.
there's the pros and the cons to having rental property. and we're going to talk about some pros and we're going to talk about some cons. I don't know where Precious wants to. Do you want to start with the pros or the cons, Precious?
We can start with the pros. I think we already went into the biggest con, which is bad tenants.
Okay.
Because there are good tenants. The tenant I have right now is really good.
Okay.
Right? Really good. So there are bad property management companies, which I just got rid of 2. And then they are good property management companies. So when you talk about pros and cons, it's usually in the same category: property management, tenants, things of that nature. So you have good tenants. And I think number 1 is taking it seriously. Like you were saying, the myth is busted. I've never wanted to have a rental property. I got a rental property because in 2014, my mother contacted me and said, I think I want to move in with you. And I was like, what? I was like, I was like, I need to prepare my mind. So she said, I'm going to give you a year. And I was like, okay. So in 2015, she moved in with me. I was still not prepared. I think 3 days in, 2 grown women living together. I was like, look at here. This is not your house. This is my house. You was moving into one, because my condo is 2 bedroom, 2.5 bath. I was like, you got the parking space. You retired. I'll be coming home late. So therefore I'll park in the garage. You be home. We were getting into some stuff. So she thought in her mind that I was going to sell the condo and put the money down on the house. And I said, and my mother's owned houses before. I said, I don't know what you're thinking about real estate, but the market wasn't good. We moved here in 2016. I said, I will not sell this condo for what you think I'm going to sell it for. So I got the mortgage down really low. I mean, it really low. It was crazy low. And so then I looked for a year, and then I found this new community, these new homes, and I looked and I put in my application for the house, put my my money down to save my space because the house wasn't built yet. And so at the time, they had a program where they'll help you sell your house, they'll help you rent out your house, or something else. It was 3 choices. So I said, well, let's see if I could rent it out, because I wasn't going to get the money that I wanted for the condo. And they're like, you are in a very good position to rent out your, because my mortgage payment is just so low. So I rented it out, and they provided me with a property management company. I didn't have to go look. It was my first time renting out anything. I didn't want to deal with it. And everything fell in line. And that's how I started renting out the condo. I guess you could say it was kind of on purpose, but it wasn't, because everything wasn't planned, but I had to do what I had to do. And I still have the property. I have people asking me, do you want to sell your property? And I'm like, no, I don't want to sell my property, because it is really good income. So one thing I will say is, if you're thinking at looking at an income property, be realistic with the cost and look at the numbers. Do not go in having to pay extra on your rental property every month. You better be coming in with a profit.
Exactly.
Off that property.
Exactly. Oh, and I'm gonna interject myself into that comment right there, because when I came into the property, my first property, that was the issue that was going on. We ended up having to pay on it, pardon me, every month, whether it was like repairs or this or dealing with just the tenant issues, and it became a money pit. Basically, every month you were just dumping money. It actually took 19 years for us to cash flow, and that whole time it was just a money pit. So lesson number 1 from Precious: run your numbers and understand that this is a business, and you know, you don't want to be slumlords, but it is a business, and you have to understand that you have to make some type of profit, because that's the type of money that you're going to be reinvesting into your property and also for yourself.
Yeah.
So also, to piggyback off of what she's, so we're talking about the cons, and the reason why, hey TT, the reason why I tagged TT in when I shared out the live was because I just watched a video of her cleaning up her Airbnb.
Good.
So so you know, TT, you could chime in at any time on the aspects of the Airbnb, but that was the reason why I tagged you in particular on this video. So
Let
one of
me put a link out there
mhm.
so that way, if she want to join, she could join in.
And she will give you the Airbnb aspect of it. I deal with long-term renters,
Yes.
and one of the pros for me renting the property or being a landlord was that I got to live in the property, and my mortgage payment was pretty low. The tenants helped to pay the mortgage. But the downside to that was that you, when they find out that you are connected to the building, or you have any, I was supposed to be like an undercover boss.
Yeah.
And so, you know, when days were good, I saved a lot of money. But when days were bad, you know, I was putting out a lot. Well, let's say this: when months were good, when things were flowing normally, where I didn't have to put extras in, that was the opportunity for me to save a lot of money. But when
Yeah.
things went bad, it was kind of like you're just taking money out and then you're putting it in, putting in, putting in. So
Hmm.
anyway, long story short, COVID hit. We'll just I could just skip over. I could give you all the horrible landlord stories ever. I went through every single possible scenario that you could think that a landlord, a good landlord, would go through. I
Hmm.
don't deal with slumlord behaviors, uh,
Yes.
so I can tell you about all the the trials and tribulations of a good landlord, right? I can tell you that how people will pull on your heartstring to get this, and then they'll still be late with their rent, or they'll still find ways to connive you out of things, and they'll find way to scheme you, and you know, we could do that all day, right? But we're
Yeah.
not on that aspect of it yet. So the pros was you do get to save and build, you know, financial wealth by having a property. And even if you don't see it today, you're going to definitely see it tomorrow when you're building equity inside your home that you can use later on in life. So, or
Yeah.
if you possibly sell whatever it is that you have. Me, I'm a buy and hold type of person,
Hmm.
and if a property becomes too much for me, like the LA property is still a little bit too much, even though I'm not seeing eye to eye with my ex business partner. That was a property that should have been sold a long time ago, because
Yeah.
when you're dealing with real estate, you can go things can go above your head to the point where you're putting in more than you're taking out.
Hmm.
And even though you're looking at, oh, I might have the equity inside of the building, that equity is not helping you when you're dealing with the everyday, day to day, and you have like no money in your bank account.
And you're
So
not getting profit. That
it,
profit is
it's
needed.
it's vital for not only like I said, the survival of your business, but it's for the survival of you. So that could be one of the one of the cons in a situation like this, is because you'll be equity rich but cash poor.
Hmm.
And when you're equity rich and cash poor, you really can't maneuver the way that you want to maneuver, because you're basically a mom and pop living check to check, because you have rental property that you have to take care of. What's up, TT?
Hey,
So
TT.
that that's
I
so
got you.
that's one of the pros and the cons kind of in one pill right there for you. So let's welcome in TT. If you haven't seen her video, she just
Hi,
dropped a
everyone.
video about her Airbnb property,
I'm gonna
and
check it out.
then she could give us a little bit of
Thank you. Appreciate it.
her expertise in the Airbnb world, which I thought about, but I was too scared to go forward.
I don't know if I want to deal with that yet, but I want to hear TT's thoughts and her
Exactly,
experience
and
on
I'm
it.
gonna tell you why I had my fears of
Okay.
the
I have a
Airbnb.
feeling. I'll have
Uh-huh. You have a feeling?
um
Okay, okay, go
I
ahead.
do. Hey y'all, so I'm very new to the Airbnb world. We just went live with the property this past August, so all September, all October. Um,
Congratulations.
Yes,
Thank you.
congratulations.
But I did reach out to another YouTuber who knew someone else and got me in contact with them. Um, I don't really know if she says it very often, so I don't want to put her name out there. It's kind of like I heard it through the grapevine. But she gave me, like, we talked on the phone. She gave me in depth. I took like 5 pages of notes, just broke it down, and I appreciate having that perspective. We inherited the house. My husband's father died, and it was paid off. And we
Mhm.
went, well, not me. I let him and his siblings decide that, but they went back and forth with, did they want to just rent the house? They did not want to sell the house. Did they want to rent the house? But as a way to have more control over the house, we decided to go the Airbnb way. That way, if anything ever happens, we have that accessible to us right now. I can black out days. I have a girls' trip coming. I black those days out so we could stay there. If anything ever happens with the kids or anything like that, we have some place for family to go. Um, I was told to not look at it as our house anymore. It was a business property.
Yep,
Therefore, if we did not want
yep.
it
Yes.
lost, broken, or stolen, we had to get rid of it. So that was really hard flipping over that house to from what he had it to something that was completely different.
Hmm.
But we found ways to honor him in the house. But I guess the pro with it is, like I said, we have easy access to it. We, if something happens, power goes out, it's down the street. Power goes out or anything like that, we can go over to the house. We got family coming in, we can go over to the house.
Hmm.
I would say the downside of it is the cleaning. That has really thrown me
Mm.
off. I expected people to book weeks, months out. I'm a planner. So when they start booking last minute, oh, I was going off. not to the not to the guests, or yeah, not to the guests, but to my husband. And like, he's a trucker. So it was me. All the siblings are out of town, so it's on me
Yeah.
Oh
to
wow.
do everything. So he was real patient, and whatever I needed, he was like, put it in the Amazon cart or just go get it, whatever I needed, because he knew
Hmm.
I was doing that by myself. So I guess that would be what I really didn't expect with the last minute booking. I can deny them. I can say no, it's last minute. We can't do it. We had a plumbing issue, and
We got to get that paper.
right. Like, we're still paying
Profit,
off
profit.
expenses.
It's right
So
up the street.
I only time I ran into denying someone was, we had someone stay in there, and that was a family member. And then the plumbing went out. We had to have someone come because we had roots, but it was, all the bathrooms were messed up.
Mm.
Mm.
And had him come out there, and it was a Friday night. He fixed everything. Everything was great. He left. I start cleaning because somebody was literally coming in within a couple of minutes, only for me to find out that the shower was still clogged.
Oh wow.
Ugh.
Hmm.
So I went back and forth with the person that was coming. I apologized, and then they started telling me, it was bad customer service. And I'm like, you know what? I've had enough. I'm gonna cancel you. And they're like, no, it's okay. We're down the street. So they stayed because we still had the other 2 bathrooms. They end up staying. They left. As soon as they left, I called the emergency plumber. We got it taken care of because we had someone else coming in for a week.
Mm.
Okay.
So that's really been the only thing so far. If I had to realize the issue while the person was there, I could have had them address it right then and there. So I've learned that, we're going to review this whole house. We're not going to, I think it works. No, I personally need to see it and make sure everything is all good before anybody leaves, just for convenience and stuff.
So I want to touch on 2 things that TT brought up. The first thing was the person who gave her all that information. I had a mentor, so I didn't get my mentor until later on in the game. But
I didn't have a mentor at all.
Okay, so, and this is what I'm going to say. By the time I got to my mentor, he said, "You've already figured this out." But a mentor, but I had to figure it out through trials and tribulations, just like TT did. Even though she had a mentor, you still have to go through the trials and the tribulations. So that's that's both points that I wanted to touch on. But to get to TT's earlier question, what I stated and why she had a feeling why I didn't want to touch it, the Airbnb, was first, my other property is not in state. It's in Vegas. And if you guys have watched my the videos or the members, because I put that as a member video, but I did also drop another type of video that everyone can see. But the thing is, every time that I touched one of my units, it was like $20,000 in renovations, getting it back to normal, this, that, and the other. And I said to myself, if I have to do this every time a tenant leaves, imagine how I would feel if it was Airbnb'd out and then someone came in and destroyed the property or did something that costs way more than I could possibly take off their credit card. So I put my thinking my thinking cap on, and I said, you know what? I just came out of a bad situation. Let me not put myself into another bad situation. But I thought long and hard, because there's different ways that you can do the Airbnb, which I had to go do my own research. So one of the things that I did find out that I could do as an Airbnb when I was deeply thinking about it was the traveling nurses. So that's good money. They're at work 12 hours a day. They don't have time to trash
tear up your stuff.
Yes. So
and because it's corporate, we found out that because it's corporate, they're more likely to take care of your stuff, because then that's a bad rap on their name. But we like it when they book for a week, because we're like, oh, it's corporate and it's money.
Exactly. So for anybody who's interested in Airbnbs, traveling nurses is good money if you are close to a hospital. And it just so happened that my Vegas property was close to a hospital. I also found that there are what do you call those? The booking agents that primarily they only deal with traveling nurses. So you can go through one of those agencies for a small fee, and then they will guide you through the process of, connecting traveling nurses with your property. So at the end of it, for me, and because the property is in Vegas, I decided that I was going to get a rental property management and just let them deal with it. And I don't have the headaches of dealing with the tenants like that anymore. So that within itself, you get a little bit of pros and a little bit of con in those situations. So one more last thing before I let Precious jump in is that if you are considering rental property, just know the 3 important things about it is screen, screen, screen. You got to screen the tenant, screen the tenant, screen the tenant. If you can do that, you'll be all right in this space.
Yeah.
Precious.
So before we continue, if you have any questions, please put questions in the chat and we'll try to answer them as much as possible. So when it comes to property management right now, me and Jay are switching roles because I had one property management company for 9 years and it just started going downhill. I wasn't getting my money to after the 15th of the month.
Mhm.
Just issues. Mortgage is due on the first. They give you 15 days, but you got stuff coming in. I have a condo. I got HOA coming in. You just messing up my accounts and you don't get back overdraft fees. The bank could cover you, but you don't get those fees back, and you don't get fees for check bouncing and being returned because I have stuff on auto pay. So I'm thinking stuff is okay, and
Yeah.
then I'm checking the account where the money comes into and stuff is bouncing. So
Mm.
the property
Yeah,
management,
I
go
have
ahead.
my accounts on. I like to pay.
Yeah. This is the way my
No,
checking account work with my
yeah.
savings.
That part.
That part.
No, but all jokes aside, uh, even with my management company, I don't get my rent until about the 15th. But praise be to the Most High that I'm okay to just pay it in front and just get it in the back because the three S's was completed already. Screen, screen,
Yeah,
screen.
screen.
So I
Mhm.
know that on the 15th I am gonna get that. So once I know that the money is going to come in, I don't mind paying it up front and dealing with that end of it. It's to me that's another one of the pros and the cons. Can you how can you survive if your property is not generating the funds that you wanted to generate, or if it's not generating it right away? And
Right.
a part of that is you have to have multiple streams of income, or
Mhm.
you kind of have to plan ahead. So
Yeah,
that's one of the things that I learned from my first property is that I just can't have 7, 8, 9, $10 in my account because I don't have to worry about my household. I have to worry about my household and then the next person's household and then the
yeah,
next person's household. So I have to be
yeah,
accountable for all those households.
yeah,
So the things that I used to do, I can't do anymore because I have to think about the different households that rely on me being able to do the type of things that I'm able to do. And I can also
Uh-oh. He'll come back. He gonna come back.
Okay.
So while I'll finish, oh, there he
There it
is.
is.
So with the property management, not only was it that, so I found out they're charging my tenant to pay. So they have ACH and then they can pay by debit. So when he pays by debit, they take the money immediately. So they were
Mhm.
charging him like a $10 to $15 fee to take the money. So he pays no later than third. He pays on time every month.
Mhm.
They were saying,
Because they get you in them fees.
there he is again.
yeah,
Yeah, they
I
get you with the
apologize.
fees. It's
My
okay.
my laptop just went out. So anyway, I switched to my phone. So what I was gonna say is that I started out real young in the space. So I did some real young and ignorant things, and I'm not ashamed to say that. Uh, and I'll give this story, and I'll leave it at that. When you're a child, you think as a child, but as a man, you think as a man, right? So I had the choice of paying either $300 for the water bill for the units, or keep that $300 to go buy myself a pair of shoes and some kicks. And because the tenant pissed me off that week, I, I went to go purchase.
You got the kicks.
I got some kicks. But anyway, that was the wrong thing for me to do because
Mhm.
when that water was shut off and people started calling, I had to scramble and call the water company and beg them and tell them there was just a lapse in judgment, and I had to make up this elaborate excuse at my young and tender age to let them know that the ball was dropped and the bill would be paid immediately. Right?
Mhm.
Well,
So that was a lesson learned for me at that age that your tenants come first because this is the role that you chose.
yeah,
So Anyway, so my laptop had cut off, so I'm gonna let you guys jump back into what you were saying before my thoughts were cut off.
No, I was saying, so they charging my tenant this money to get the money to me quicker, but then they're waiting to the 15th or after the 15th of September. I didn't get all of my money till the 23rd of the month, right?
Mm,
The new month is coming up. So I said, so why are you charging him? And they're like, well, he's paying by credit card. And I was like, no, he's not. He's paying by debit card. He's not paying by credit card. Well, we have to wait till their money clears. And I'm like, we are in a world of Venmo, of Zelle,
Right.
of
yep.
Cash App. I said, what do you mean you have to wait for his money to clear? So I went ahead, had the two property management companies, got rid of them, and now I'm using Turbo Tenant start
Mm,
this month. It's a software that landlords can use. They get all your paperwork ready for you for taxes. You could take online classes. So this is the first time in 9 years that I'm gonna be managing the property myself, and we gonna see how it's gonna work out. But I was also thinking my last tenant during the pandemic, the water heater went out
mm,
and he wasn't paying his rent or whatever. And the property management company said, "What are you gonna do?" I said, "I'm not fixing it." And they're like, "What do you mean?" I said, "Well, he don't want to pay rent.
mm-hmm.
So he's living for free. So therefore he should have some money to get the water heater
Mhm.
fixed." And I
Yeah.
usually don't do that.
And see, and that's the crazy part because California got some very tenant friendly rules, and even if they're not paying rent, you are required as a landlord to have those certain things within that rental property,
Mhm.
or they will come for you in the quickest ways.
Well,
That is
I
another.
used to well, I'm gonna say I used to work for the gas company, right? So I
Mhm.
said, well, he needs to call the gas company. They could come out and tell him what's wrong with the water heater because it's a gas appliance. They told him what's wrong. Well, this is what was wrong. I said, okay, so now you call a plumber and then you call a plumber out to fix it because I was fixing all kind of stuff
Yep.
without him
Yep.
paying rent and me not. It's coming out of my pocket. He's not paying
Mhm.
rent,
Yeah. No,
and
I totally get it.
yeah.
I had a tenant that within the first 3 months, I had a huge window in the apartment, and she busted the window out. And I said, "Excuse me, what's going on here?" And she was like, "Oh, yeah, I'm gonna get it fixed." 2 weeks later, I go back and I see the glass is hanging out of the window now, and I'm like, now it's on me because now it's a visible hazard, and if it falls out and someone get cut, it's a liability for me.
Mhm.
So I ended up having to get that window fixed after I had just put a 20,000 into the unit. Now I'm getting this glass fixed by this tenant. I'm not going to tell you what kind of tenant it is, but I'm sure you can guess what type of tenant it was. But long story short, you know, I had to take that liability off of my hands, and I still I never recouped my money for fixing that window. So that's one of the problems that you get if you don't do the three S's: the screen, screen,
Green
screen, right?
screen. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So those are the type of things that you get when you don't do the triple S's. So yeah,
Mhm.
having bad tenants can really bring down your energy, especially if you're a good landlord. And
Yeah.
I will always tell people who are thinking about getting into the rental space, always do your triple S's and you will be all right.
Yeah.
Uh, for everything that I've experienced, I ask myself all the time, would I do it again? I say yes, I would do it again, but because I now have a blueprint on what to do and what not to do, I would totally do it a little bit differently. And so for Precious coming into the self management, because that's what I did for a long time. I'll pray for you. Uh,
I only have one unit right now, but
oh, okay.
eventually me and my brother we're trying to look for other property in other states. And when we do that, I'll probably go back to a property management
Okay.
company. But for right now, I had to tell them because the last property management, they were really reactive and responsive and they were nice. They were just doing the same thing. And I said, I don't understand. If this tenant, I said, you should give me my money within 2 to 3 business days. You shouldn't tell me they process it on the 10th, and then it's gonna take 3 to 5
Yeah,
business days.
my company is the same way, but to be honest with you, I've learned to live with it, and that doesn't bother me per se, right? But for TT, you would be considered a self manager, and the type of
Yeah.
things that you're doing. So I pray for you also. Me, I'm hands on deck. I'm hands on deck all the time, but because of a lot of the recent things, and then I had some health issues back in the days. Well, a couple of years ago, I had some health issues. I'm just trying to scale back on as less hand to hand combat as possible. So for me, I love the thrill of going to renovate properties, and I love to go do my own sweat equity. That's the part of what I loved about doing the real estate, and that's why I wanted to continue. But as you get a little bit
Yeah.
older, or a little bit more mature, you kind of have to think about automation. You want to
Yeah.
kind of automate as much as you possibly can. And I used to listen to this radio show on Sirius XM. This lady that would come on, I forgot her name, but she always talked about the A team. You have to have your A team. And a part of the A team is having things kind of automated. So, like for TT, of course, you're doing it now, you're learning the ropes, but once you learn the ropes, you probably might want to get someone to go in there and do your cleaning and do that type of stuff for you, and then you could have that automated,
Yeah.
and then you just pay them out
Get you
because
some handyman, some carpenters. Like I know guys that can do stuff at a cheaper discount than calling out, and they're licensed and they're my
yeah,
friends. And so they'll come in there, Precious, I'll charge you this. And I'll look up, I'm like, oh yeah, that's a big
Mhm.
discount because
Mhm.
yeah,
I was trying to have my property management company do it. And I do procurement. I'm in
hmm,
procurement, so I'm always looking at price, and I deal with contracts and negotiations. And I was like, that is way above market level. You're gouging. And
exactly,
so
exactly, and
I,
that
yeah,
and that's a part of the reason why I was so hands on, because my ex manager, he would do the same thing. He, he would send out astronomical bills, and when I would go do the research on my own, I'm like, where are you getting these numbers from?
hmm,
And when I would
Yeah.
say, hey, this is what I found, he'd be like, oh, it must have been a miscalculation. And this is one of the things with also dealing with a management company. Also, you have to 3S them also. You have to screen them, because they'll do things like they'll have the contractor give you one price, and then a management company will tack on an extra $100 to their price.
Yeah.
So they're making money on top of the money, and it's all kinds of schemes and scams out there. And this is why having a mentor is good, because you get to understand things like that. That
Mhm.
they some of these management companies will tack on a bill to repairs that
Yeah.
were are lesser bills, but then they will tack on an extra $50 to $100 on top of that bill. So
they'll tack on more. They'll
yeah,
tack on they'll tack on 35-40% onto, and you just have to know like that. That's what I do for a living, and I'm like, no, and they're like, how did this lady know so much? Like even I had a fire in my condo in 2011. I was living there at the time. And so at the time I was working for the gas company and purchasing. I knew a lot of um, contractor vendors, distribution that did construction. And so when
Mhm.
it was like, well, this is this much, and I was like, no, you need to pay for that, not me. That's not how much it costs. They hated me. They hated me because I was blasting them. I was like, that's not how much that costs. I know this, I know that. And so I actually saved like State Farm a lot of money because I was like, no, they're
mhm,
gouging, they're doing this. So you just have to know. So I would, if I were UTT, I would ask around, see if you can find you some handymans, befriend you a lot of handyman services, and then they
Mhm.
can introduce
We
you to
have a lot
plumbers,
of people when
electricians.
we replaced like all the outlets, updated the outlets, light switches, ceiling fans, and that was a friend of the family.
mhm,
Um, We actually have a friend of a family that's a plumber, but he had knee surgery and
Mm.
couldn't. He wasn't working right then and there. Um, but yeah, we have a lot of. We've been using our like contacts,
That's good. Utilize your
and
network.
I will say that part. I will say that for the automated part with Airbnb, everything's automated. I set my price. The fees come out to the guest on top of whatever I set it. So we have weekdays amounts and then weekend amounts. And it doesn't come out of what we set it as. They give you suggestions, but you don't have to go by their suggestions. You can say that everything in the house is covered top to bottom while there is a guest there. We haven't run into any issues where we had to work out a claim or anything, so I'm not sure how they are versus what
That's a
they do,
blessing. That's a blessing. And then,
what they say and what they do. But they
mhm.
do say that it's covered top to bottom. Hmm.
Let's talk about the pros. Let's talk about the pros, which is this this right here. It helps you on paper.
Yeah.
You're getting this much extra income yearly from your property. That's why you want that profit. I hear echo. I don't know why I hear echo. I'm sorry. Um that that
I
is
hear
the
it
key.
too.
Yeah, it makes you look good on paper having an income property.
Mhm.
It helps you do things as far if you need to get a loan on a property to get something fixed, do upgrades. Because remember, you're still responsible for that property. It looks good. I'm gonna be
Hmm.
honest with you. I get an extra 26,000 dollars a year just from my income property alone.
Okay, so let me jump in. Let me jump in on that part. For me, I save by not having to give Uncle money back. So for me, like if I break even,
Yeah.
Yeah.
if I break even, that's a win, right?
Yeah,
And
you
that
gotta subtract the stuff you repair, fix,
yes,
all of that stuff.
and because my property is out of state, I get to write off all my travel and all that other type of stuff. So for me, it's just a huge
Hmm.
write off
Hmm.
that I don't have to give
Yes.
Uncle back as much as I probably would
Pro
under
number
any other.
two, write off.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so yeah, so that is a huge, 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 huge pro. Because if you would see some of the bills that Uncle tried to tack on to me, I'd
Oh
be like,
yeah.
oh man, I can't
Uncle
even
did
go.
tack it on to me,
Hmm.
but that's all right.
Yeah, I'm like, man, I can't even do gardening this month. I'm so depressed because Uncle trying to get me. So for me, that's a huge pro to have this stuff to write off, right? And then you would think, oh, because you have a child or like, I know for without a shadow of a doubt, in other administrations, you would get more for having property than in other administrations. So they'd be
Yeah.
like, "Oh, but you have this, and you could write this off, and you could." No, no, it doesn't work like that anymore. Especially when your tax bracket is going up and up and up.
Hmm.
Because as you mature, you start to make a little bit more on other streams of income, and then it's like it's a lot to balance. So having the
Hmm.
property is a good way. Rental property, it's a small business. It's a good way to write things off.
Hmm. It's a like you said, the travel, the repairs. I had a major repair right after this last tenant moved in. They had a flood. And so I had to get all type of stuff fixed. When the other tenant moved out, I probably spent around 5, 6 grand having to pull out the carpet, lay the linoleum, fixing some plumbing, making sure all the toilets were working right, fixing some sinks, painting, cleaning crew came out. JB spending 20 grand. I'm telling you, I'll be trying to get the homie hookup. I'm like, 5, 6 thousand. That was a write off.
Yeah.
That was a
So
write off.
half of the 20 the last time was I had to put a brand new air conditioning unit into the unit, and they had to bring a crane out because the air conditioning unit is on top of the building.
Same thing
So
with mine. When
yeah,
they first moved in 2016, and I knew it was old. It went out, and it was like one of the coldest winters ever.
yeah,
And
and
I
this one
called
was
out the company, and they had to get a crane about
yep,
15-20,000.
yep. And so ours was
Mhm.
the hottest summer ever in Vegas, and the AC went out. Oh Lord, I had to get
Man,
that fixed like right away. So
yeah,
that was a big chunk of the bill right then and there. So yeah, it really does benefit you to have, like I said earlier, and I hate to repeat myself, an extra storage of capital just in case of these type of emergencies, because you kind of don't want to be stuck with your pants down when something happens. So it's not, like I said, it's not just your household
Yeah.
that you have to worry about. It's the other households when you have long-term tenants. Now, TT, get them in, get them out, right? They're not long-term
hmm,
Mhm.
residents. But if you have in the long-term residents, you have to understand that if anything should happen to go wrong with that, with those particular units, you have to be able to repair what they have in a orderly, in a timely manner.
yeah, yeah. So the biggest pro is that extra yearly income, and it is a tax write-off. And not everybody is a bad tenant. The one tenant that I have, he's really good. Like, I don't have any issues. If something breaks, he's like, hey, Precious, I can actually fix this. And I'll be like, okay, give me a cost and I'll take it out of your rent. Like, I'll work with him.
Mhm.
So, and
Yeah,
then
those are the type of tenants I like to look for.
yeah. And then too, because San Bernardino, California is like the new Watts. It's what Watts was like in the 80s.
Mm,
Okay.
turn
It
up.
is. I'm just it is.
Yeah,
And with him being there, I know my property is safe.
yeah.
Like, yeah, I know it's taken care of. I don't worry about it at all.
And
It's
and to be honest, those are the type of tenants that you really want. Someone who's going to care for it like it's their own.
mm-hmm.
The last tenant that I had unfortunately passed away, and that's what she said, that she was going to be there until she passed away. I didn't think that she was going to take it literally. Uh, you guys, there's something wrong with you guys. It is something wrong with you guys.
Well,
But you
hey.
know, she's in a better place now. All praises be to the Most High, right? But oh man, Lord forgive them.
Yes,
But anyway,
sorry.
but the thing about that is that this goes back to the heartstring, right? She said everything that I wanted to hear, and I was like, "Hey, let's do it." I never really had problems out of her,
Mhm.
but she left the place a total mess. I mean, it
Oh.
was she tore that place up from the rooter to the tutor, you know.
Is
So
this the one? Oh no, you said the one from Vegas with the video
Vegas,
was 2 years ago.
yeah, that was 2 years ago. That was 2 years ago. So
Okay.
for the members, you guys could go see that video. If you're a Cali Bro J member, you could go see that video. It's under the membership of me renovating that particular unit in Vegas. But would I do it again? I would absolutely do it again, and I will repeat that maybe three more times in the next 8 minutes because 7 o'clock is
Mhm.
approaching.
And it
So
is a holiday, so people got stuff going on.
nah, it's no holiday for me. We already
Yeah,
discussed that,
yeah.
but you know,
Me neither.
I have my limits on the lives.
You
That's
said
why
that last time, and we
that's
went an
why I don't.
hour and a half.
That's
You was
but
out
now I'm
talking
keeping an
me.
eye on the time, precious. And I hope the community that's listening right now at least take a couple of gems out of this. And if you haven't shared out the
Mhm.
video, go ahead and share out the video. You know,
Yes, please.
but it's a lot of information to unpack. But you can always rewind and then play it again wherever you could find some information because we are dropping gems here today.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
so
So one thing, let me see. That on my list, and you already mentioned, be consistent with tenant screening. Yes, Lord. Yes,
yep,
yes. And stay abreast of changes in law. Lord,
yep.
California laws, as
Oh
always.
man, changing like
Oh,
vampires. Oh
always.
man.
I'll be listening. What did they say on the news? I'll be like, all right.
Oh man, I mean,
Don't touch
they
your
just
phone. Okay, don't touch your phone. All right.
the last couple of laws that just changed was you have to have air conditioning in the units now, and then the other one is that you must provide the stove and the refrigerator inside of the units.
Yeah. Yep.
So in my Vegas unit, I already provided that because that's kind of like the standard of how you get a good tenant into the units out there anyway. Because Vegas is a little bit cheaper. So I invested in this all black, black on black, everything to make it kind of look a little, a little grown and sexy, and try to bring the, what I mean, the
Bring
top
me
the
in.
top
Bring me
players in. But out here in California, I just think that was just the most disrespectful thing that you can do
Well,
to landlords.
I'm okay with the stove, especially because my unit has a gas stove. I don't want them pulling out, that because I used to work for the gas company.
Hmm.
I'm
Yeah.
very
Mhm.
leery about people messing with
No,
gas appliances, gas connections. So I'm okay with that.
you know
But
what?
I already have that in there.
I do get that, but when you're a mom and pop versus someone who owns like 10 or 15, 20 units, every little bit counts. And to force
Yeah.
a mom and pop to put a stove and a refrigerator inside of a unit, even though you could go on Broadway probably and get something for the low. you know
Hmm.
i I think that when you look at the overall situation of any maintenance and repairs that might have to go into a refrigerator or a stove, because I've seen it happen. I've had plenty of stoves inside my Jeep that I've that I've delivered. So just to even think about stuff like that, I just think about the added expenses that like landlords have to deal with, especially in California and in
Yeah.
LA where things
Because
are
renters
already.
have the best laws out here in
Oh, they
California. They
do.
really do.
Mhm.
And what a lot of people don't understand is that California has a lot of rent controlled areas. So you could be putting in a whole bunch of money into units, and the renter is only paying $600-700, but you're putting in maybe $300-400 a month of repairs or complaint or dealing with complaints into that unit. So
Yeah.
really, you're
Losing
only
money.
getting about $200 if they have about $300 worth of complaint every month. And I
Oh,
bit.
I'm
Go
I'm
ahead.
sorry. This came to mind. I wanted to mention something. Know the areas of where you're buying property, right?
So
Like,
that you don't have rent control.
so you don't
Yeah.
have rent control. LA County and probably Orange County and maybe I'm gonna say the Bay Area and Ventura probably have the highest rent control stuff going on. Whereas Riverside County, where I live, and San Bernardino County don't have those type of measures. Like, I mean, you were getting hurt a little bit, but the
Hmm.
people in LA County that decided, oh, I'm going to have this property, they already not getting a profit every month, right? And
Yep.
all of a
Yep.
sudden, the pandemic hits, and they're in this rent control area, and you
Yep.
paying $4,000 or $5,000 a month on a mortgage, and you not getting no rent. They were
Mhm.
hurt hard. Those are
You
Mhm.
will
probably
you will hurt
really
hard.
hurt. You will
Another
hurt.
law that passed last year was that it's illegal now to charge them double rent for the deposit.
Yeah.
So these some of these tenants who go in and cause, like, and I've ran the numbers already, that amount of damage, and you only get $1,300 or $1,400 back from 20,000. So that still leaves you 19,000 in the hole.
Yep.
So these are some of the things that you want to be aware of before you think about getting into rental property. But you could mitigate a lot of this if you just do the triple S's, which is screen, screen,
Screen,
screen.
screen,
Yeah.
screen. Come
Yep.
in, be realistic with your costs. For instance, okay, it was when I bought my house, I had a friend that bought her house at the same time and she started renting out her house. And my friend did not listen. I told her, I said, before you decide to get this house, why don't you refi and try to get your mortgage down on your current house, so that way when you move into your new house, you'll be getting a profit on that rental property. That's what I did. In fact,
Mm.
I had did a modification. I only got 10 more years to pay on that property. I didn't even have to change my term, nothing like
Mhm.
that. And I got the mortgage down really low. Her and her husband didn't do that. So they were paying an extra $100, $200 a month. They weren't getting enough on the
To
property.
cover it.
Yeah, it hurt them with taxes, and they're like, "Oh, this is not for me." And that's what you don't want to go into. You don't want to go in having a horrible experience where you're spitting out all this money. You're just like, renting sucks, because it doesn't suck, because right now there are families that need a roof over their head.
Yeah.
So you don't want to put yourself in a bad place. And I didn't want to say I told you so, and I held back, but in
Mhm.
my head I was like, why didn't you listen to me when I
Well,
told you to do
well,
such and such and such?
in a situation like that, I wouldn't say I told you so. I would just say, my granny used to always tell me a hard head makes a soft behind.
And it does. And that behind was soft and sore.
And on that note, it's 7 o'clock, ladies. It was a
Okay.
pleasure doing this live with you. But I've got to go.
Okay. Well, TT, if you want to stay on, let me know. If you got to go, then we'll go ahead and we'll end the live. Unless somebody has any questions in the chat, I'm gonna let you go,
I'll
Jay.
stick. I'll stick around for a couple of questions.
Okay.
I
See,
will
now
too.
Mike is upset. He said, "Ah." He was like, "Look, we don't make Mike
Mike just
sad.
warming up for the night.
He just warming up." So, TT, did you want to add anything to the live?
Um,
She said, "Not really, no."
not really. I don't think I got anything else.
Yeah, I think we covered. I think we covered a lot of bases.
Hmm.
Yeah.
For introductory to the real estate, I think a lot of gems were dropped. I think they'll just have to
Yeah.
rewind and watch the hour again. Make sure you guys catch the replay. For those coming in, make sure you hit the like, share, and subscribe. Make
Yes,
sure you
please.
go follow TT and her new journey, Precious and
Yes.
her journey, and me. You can come see me anytime. You know where I'm at, Cali Bro J. But anyway, guys, I will see you on the next video. Peace.
All
All
right.
right. Love you
Bye.
all. Have a good day.